Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adam TV Podcast. For those of you who are new to this podcast, our podcast will be broadcast regularly every Sunday night. Once again, hello, everyone. And now let's get started with today's topic. I will start today's episode with a short story. Once upon a time, I went to a funeral with a friend of mine in Australia. The deceased is a close friend of my friend. In the funerals of Westerners, people often have a tradition. That is, close people will stand up and share memories with the deceased. When it was my turn to speak, he told me about the memories of their childhood. Then after that, it was the journey that my friend witnessed how the other friend grew up and lived his life. His story was very good, but the sentence that touched me the most was the ending sentence that my friend used to end the story about his friend. He said the sentence was a life well lived. Translated into Vietnamese, it is a life worth living. 4 words, but it kept touching my head forever. It made me ask myself a question, that is, how do I want to live my life? So that after I lie down, I can still laugh that I have lived a life worth living. And from those thoughts, it led me to a bigger question. That is, how do I want my life to be told? And in today's episode, I will share with you the journey that I went to find that answer for myself. In the picture that I will share with you in today's episode, I divide it into 3 stages. The first stage, I call it the investment stage, because in my opinion, anything in this life is the same. To get the sweet fruit, we must have the days that we work hard to plant. In terms of finance, in order to get high returns, good results, we must have days to work hard to invest. It would be very unreasonable if we don't have enough effort but want to have sweet fruits later. So right when I started to take over my life, right after I was 18 years old, I received the key from my parents to start running my own life. That's when we have to start right at this investment stage. So what do we invest in? In my opinion, we should invest in 4 aspects, that is, experience, knowledge, finance, and mindset. Now the next question is, what is the most effective way to invest in these 4 aspects? Now I will step back a bit to get back to the original question. That is, how do we want our life story to be told? This is a very important question that I think all of us should ask ourselves to find the answer ourselves. Because if we can't find the answer to this question, it means that as long as we don't know what we want our life to be like, we will still go forward in a very vague way. At that time, we will not know where we should go. And when we don't know where to go, we will very easily tend to follow the directions. Seeing others go, I go too. And when we follow the directions, that's when we start to expose our life to bad luck. If we are lucky, that direction will lead us to places that make us happy. And if we are not lucky, it will lead us to things we don't want. Until we realize, we may have gone almost all the way. Therefore, in my opinion, one of the most important goals is to figure out a picture that I want to draw for my life. In other words, that is, how do we want our life to be told after we lie down? And in my opinion, the most effective way to answer this important question is that we have to have a lot of ingredients, and the ingredients here are what will make us happy. The more of these ingredients, the better. Why did I say that? Because now imagine if we ask a piano artist what they want their life picture to be like. Their answer will definitely be revolving around activities related to piano and music. Similarly, if we ask that question to Professor Ngo Bao Cho, for example, then I guess 90% of the answer will be to live your whole life to study math and do things related to math. But if we ask that same question to a young man who has just finished high school and doesn't know what he likes or wants, it will definitely be very difficult for you to answer the question that you want your life picture to be like. Therefore, this question is both a difficult question and an easy question. Difficult is if we don't have the ingredients, if we don't know what we like, what we are passionate about. Easy is when we know clearly what we are passionate about, what will bring us joy and happiness. But passion is like an illusion in the desert. Everyone knows that we need it. Everyone wants it. But to have it is not easy. There are some people who have been around all their lives, but they still don't know what they are passionate about. So the next question is, how do we find our passion? In my opinion, the only way to find your passion is to experience it a lot. Because it will be very difficult for us to stand outside, look in, and determine whether we like it or not. The only way to know if you like it or not is to experience it long enough and deep enough. Why do I say long enough and deep enough? Because in most cases, we can only find out if we like something or not after we have experienced it for a long enough time. I take a simple example of playing the guitar. At first, it will be very easy to give up playing the guitar because we have to learn all the basic things, not to mention playing for a long time, but still not getting any melody. This time will be very boring. But if we continue to practice, slowly you will be able to start playing, and slowly you will find the joy in it. And that joy will grow bigger and bigger, and if it continues to develop like this, it may become a passion of yours. Therefore, if we give up too soon, you may miss out on a chance to discover a passion of yours. But there is also the possibility that after a while, after you have mastered it, it is still not attractive enough to continue. At least we have a fairly accurate answer to the question of whether it is your passion or not. Therefore, in the first 5 months, if you still don't know what you like, then you just experience it a lot. Whenever you have a chance to experience something new, just experience it and do it to the end. And these things sometimes ask us to invest quite a lot of time. That is why in this series I have saved a lot of time for this experience, a total of 17 years, from the time we were born at the age of 18 to 35. In fact, this is the time when we have nothing to lose. We are born with white hands, so we should experience as much as possible. Even after a while, we find out that it is not what we like. It is still a very valuable experience in life. Because at the end of the day, we live to experience as many things as possible. In the previous episode, I gave an image of cards in the game of life. At this stage, the more we play, the better. And I believe that the more we play, the more likely we are to find the games we like. It will be very difficult if we only play a few games and hope to find out which game we like right away. But imagine if we have played about 100 games, we will definitely find a few games that we like. And just like that, when you have experienced enough in such a long period of time, I believe that you will definitely find your own passion. I even believe that if you experience countless things in such a long period of time, finding more than one passion is a completely possible thing. And that will be a great thing because sometimes there are people who live their whole lives but they can't find any passion. And sometimes just one passion is enough for us to draw a picture of our life. The second thing we need to have is knowledge. I don't need to say too much about this because everyone knows that knowledge is very important in life. We try to build a mindset which in English is called growth mindset. I don't know how to translate this word into Vietnamese to make it more reasonable, but the point is that we have to build a spirit of always learning, always reinventing ourselves. Especially in this era that we are living in, the acquisition of knowledge opens the door for everyone. There is no difference between rich or poor. You only need a computer or even a phone with an internet connection. The knowledge playground is now much more fair. That's why we just need to build a spirit of always learning, and there are ways to learn and research how to make it effective. From there, we can research any field we want. Looking at this chart, although I put the learning and education stage in the 18 to 35 age range, learning is what we should do for the rest of our lives. I put it in this stage to make the chart look neater. Next, another important thing that we need to do as soon as possible is the financial freedom journey. We should do this as soon as we are born. As soon as we have the first salary, we need to invest. I have shared how to do it in detail in the financial freedom journey. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it again. And if you still remember, the first step of the financial freedom journey is that we have to raise ourselves. That is, we have to get rid of dependence on our family. So whether you go to college or not, right after the age of 18, go to work to be financially independent. To be independent, you just need to take care of yourself. And this is not difficult at all. You just need to do something. And after you have raised yourself, you must immediately start the financial freedom journey and build financial freedom for yourself. And as we know, if there is a correct way to do it, an average financial freedom journey will take about 10 years. And in this model, we have a total of 17 years. That's why I believe that with the right mindset, combined with perseverance and the right methods, this 17-year period will definitely be enough for us to achieve financial freedom. That is why we should start the financial journey as soon as possible. And this journey starts with going to work. Going to work, in addition to helping you have the money to support yourself, you will accumulate many other valuable assets. And these assets will be the basis to build up stable mindsets for our future lives. I always believe that mindsets are very important. So during this time, we just need to focus on these four aspects: experience, knowledge, financial freedom, and building mindsets. I call these four aspects the living assets. As we accumulate more and more living assets, we will gradually understand better who we are and what we want. And from there, we will gradually start to imagine what the picture we want for our life will look like. However, I also say that we should not expect what we draw at this stage to be a fixed picture. We should not see that drawing as a drawing of a house. No matter how it is drawn, it will be the same later, because if so, life will be very boring. Instead, let's see it as a compass to guide us to a certain direction. On that journey, we can turn right or turn left according to the conditions and stages of life. But thanks to that compass, our journey will still go in a certain direction. That is the direction that will bring us the most happiness. In this chart, I use the 35-year-old milestone as a suggestion. But it does not necessarily have to be fixed at this point, because each person will have a different way to carry out this journey. Therefore, it will be shorter or longer depending on the conditions of each person. Now let's look at a summary of what we have built in this 17 years. First, it is countless experiences that we have accumulated over such a long period of time. In addition, it is a series of deep and broad knowledge that we have continuously learned and perfected ourselves. Then we have also built a series of solid mindsets for ourselves. For example, the mindset of financial freedom, the know-it-all mindset, the mindset of freedom from materialism, and the growth mindset for us to experience and receive new things. Then the mindset of perseverance and never giving up. And many other different mindsets through this continuous process of experience and learning. Behind us at that time was a solid white sheet of financial freedom. From now on, our lives will no longer be affected by money. And most importantly, in front of us is a table, which is the picture that I have sketched about the life I want it to look like. At this point, I know exactly what I want to do, and what will bring me the most happiness. With such platforms, from now on, we can freely enjoy life in any way we want. For example, if we like to build a family, we can completely build a family. With a solid financial platform of financial freedom, it will allow us to provide our family with a very comfortable life. In addition, with the mindsets we have built, it will be a very solid base for our family. In addition, with the extensive knowledge we have accumulated, we can convey and raise our children in the best way. With such platforms, we can be completely at ease to enjoy family life, enjoy life with our small family, and enjoy life to the fullest. And if family life is not our choice, if we like to do business or work, then we can completely freely do business and work as we wish. At that time, we do business with the mindset that we still have safety nets behind. With such a mentality, we can easily play the most risky games and still not be afraid of anything. We will be easier to take risks than those who are taking the red numbers of the family to take risks. If you win, you lose. If you lose, the whole family goes out. I don't believe that in a gamble, those people will be the ones who benefit. They will always have to negotiate in weak positions. Not to mention that in addition to money, behind us is a series of solid knowledge, useful mindsets. Our business game will be very interesting. And the important thing is that throughout this journey, whether we go up or down, we are always in an enjoyable state. Not to mention that with the freedom we have built, we can play many games at the same time, and we can still play well and enjoy it. For example, we can play both business and family games at the same time. For example, we can play both business and family games at the same time. And certainly with the financial knowledge and mindset that we have built, we can play both of these games at the best level. Even more, we can still play well. This is the stage when we can enjoy the results from our 5 months of investment and investment. Thanks to those 5 months of investment, we now have the freedom to do anything that makes us happy. And gradually, this happiness will get bigger and bigger, and it will lead us to the highest levels of the happiness tower. And it will lead us to the highest levels of the happiness tower. That is when we start to find joy that surpasses our own happiness. That is when we start to find joy that surpasses our own happiness. That is when we start to build a second path. That is the path of sharing. Sharing our happiness to others. Sharing our happiness to others. It is when we can allow ourselves to think of the legacy that we will leave when we leave this life. When it comes to sharing, many people may think of charity, but in fact, it can be in many different forms. It can be science, when we are freely and wholeheartedly researching a solution. Or it can be setting up a company or organization to solve a problem for society. Or it can be simply sharing the knowledge we have accumulated for the younger generations. In short, it can be in any form as long as it brings us happiness and value to the people around us. At this time, we may slow down our concentration on old activities and start to focus more on this sharing activity. For a simple reason, this is when we start to look for higher levels of happiness. And this journey may also have a lot of ups and downs, not necessarily good luck. But even if there are ups and downs, with the platforms we have, it is still a very happy journey. Then when it has developed to a certain level, it will be time for us to start preparing for the succession of both the main activity and the secondary activity. If the main activity is a family, then the succession will be to pass on to our children the wisdom, the principles that we have collected. Please note that I am not talking about leaving money for your children. I have a thought that we should not leave money for our children. Instead, we should leave the lessons, the ways of thinking, the methods of learning, so that from there it will pave its own way. With these things, our children can start from zero, and they can still have a successful and happy life. Without these things, no matter how much money we leave behind, it will only harm them. That is in the case that our main activity is a family. And if in the second example, our main activity is not a family, but a business, for example, then this will be the time for us to prepare and train the next leadership class to pass it on to them. Similarly, for the sharing activity, at some point, we will also start preparing for the succession, because we all want those activities to continue after we leave. Our main goal at this stage is to focus on building these transfers. After that time is the time when we start to step back to observe and guide the successors, and slowly we can step back, see everything continue to work without us. Now is the time when we can wrap up, summarize the lessons, the experiences, the wisdom that we have, because with such a life, it will definitely be very valuable lessons for the next generations. After doing those things, we can continue to enjoy our remaining time. Then we slowly step over the 70s and enjoy our additional 5 months. And smile, waiting for the day we say goodbye to a worthy life. In any official version of our country, it also has a very good sentence. That is independence, freedom, happiness. And what I share with you today is also built around that sentence. As soon as we step into life, let's try to be independent as soon as possible. Start with independence from finance. Take care of yourself. Then slowly we become independent from thoughts, knowledge, and mindset. From there, we build platforms for freedom. Financial freedom, material freedom, freedom in thought, and freedom to live life the way we want, without being influenced by anything else. When we are free, it will be a solid foundation for us to find happiness for ourselves, and happiness will gradually lead us to perfection. But looking back, even in the early stages, it is the journey to perfect yourself every day. Witness what you are investing, you are planting, it grows up. Gradually, it leads you to the goal you want. Then all of those things will also bring us a lot of happiness. The result is that we will have a life full of happiness. A life worth living not only for yourself, but also for everyone around you. There is a very good sentence in English that I really like. I will put that sentence on the screen. Translate this sentence into Vietnamese. That is, let's do it so that when we leave this world, it's a little better than when we step in. And I believe that this is a goal that all of us want to achieve. It's just that sometimes life is too difficult. It rolls us along the usual paths, so it doesn't allow us to think about such far-fetched things. What I share in today's episode is a suggestion about another path, in which we can leave the obstacles and go our own way to live a more meaningful life. I share this path, not to let you live the same way as the formula, but so that you can use it as an opening, so that from there we can reduce more and less to make it more suitable for our own path. The ultimate goal is that we have to lie behind to have a happy and perfect life. I hope that through today's opening, you have a clearer image of a path that can lead to more happiness, as well as the previous episodes. If you find this content useful, please share it with your friends and family, especially those who are still young, because I believe it will help them a lot. I wish you all a happy weekend with your loved ones and family.